You might not like numbers, but you should love math because everything in life has to add up.
It has to add up.
Formula is words plus actions equals. What up, y'all? Josh and EC here once again with our first quality video. Back and better than ever. We're gonna get right. We're gonna get together. We saw all the comments. Glad to see you guys are excited about the new content coming. As you can tell from the title, we have some juicy stuff to talk to you guys about today. We have 9 signs that you're in a toxic relationship.
Welcome to the first video.
Welcome to the first video. We feel like this is some helpful information. Over the years, we've noticed that, you know, couples, individuals, whoever have personal and strangers, social media, like have come to us with issues and they've asked for our advice. And something that we've noticed is that, you know, toxic signs, symptoms, cycles, all that
aren't as common.
Yeah, it's not really common knowledge like we thought it would be.
Right.
So, you know, this video is sort of us imparting our 2 cents on what we feel would be signs of toxic,
yes, to pay attention to. And these are in no particular order, either. They're all just signs you're in a toxic relationship.
Yeah. Let's hop right into it. Sign number 1.
No peace.
Big one. With a relationship, a healthy relationship, the other person's supposed to be your peace.
Yes.
Like, the world is already crazy enough as it is on the outside. When you come home, y'all are supposed to be y'all recharge station.
Home.
Like that, like she's my home.
Vice versa.
The world's crazy. I go out there, I'm stressed out. I don't want to come back into a situation where I don't have peace here either.
Right. If you are feeling like when you are entering into your home or just entering into the same space, because not everybody's living with their significant other, right? If more times on the scale feels like war than peace, you are definitely in a toxic relationship.
Or a toxic environment.
Yes. There could be turbulence.
Turbulence,
actually, that can happen in your relationship. That doesn't mean it's toxic. No relationship is perfect, and the 2 individuals in the relationship are not perfect. So there is going to be turbulence at times. But there is a difference between turbulence
and the plane crashing.
Exactly. That's a war.
When the masks come down and they start saying, put the mask on, save yourself, the oxygen's going, okay, like that's not peace. That's a very scary time.
You're preparing for war.
You're preparing for a war. But if it's just like a little shakiness, put your seatbelt on.
Right.
Okay, that's turbulence.
That is turbulence.
So if you're not in a peaceful situation, or if you feel like peace is just so far from where you are in the relationship, then that is a sign. That's not to say it's a fact, but it's a sign that you're in a toxic relationship.
Definitely.
Sign number 2.
Sign number 2.
Lack of accountability.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one. I like to say it a lot, watch out for perfect people.
Yeah.
Because if we're living at our edge, if all of us live at our edge, none of us are perfect.
If you don't know what living at your edge is, by the way, side note, it is being brutally honest and 100 with yourself. At bare minimum, look at your toxic traits, be honest with yourself about what your flaws are. That's it.
It's really looking in the mirror.
It's looking in the mirror and being 100.
Yeah, and it's not like letting your ego make excuses for yourself.
The ego and the pride has to die.
The pride, and you know, like there's always gonna be a reason for your actions.
Right.
Okay, but you have to take accountability for your actions.
Right.
Life's gonna throw 1,000 things at you, but how do you react?
Correct.
What do you do when life throws these things at you?
Because you're the only person. You can't control anything else about your environment when somebody else does, says, whatever. The only thing you can control is yourself. How you react to a situation.
And if the other person, or if like the person you're in a relationship refuses to acknowledge anything that they've done, that's a sign of toxicity.
Yeah.
It really is a sign of toxicity, because you can't change if you don't see a problem.
Right.
If you don't see that there's an issue, there's no need for you to change. I'm perfect.
Yes.
I'm good. You need to change. I don't need to change.
Right.
That's
a lack of accountability. Lack of self-awareness and the introspection. Like, it's hard to operate and coexist with a person who does not have a lens to check themselves. The checks and balance system is so important for both individuals to have in order for a relationship to truly work and be healthy.
This is something for you to know for the other person, but also for yourself. Yes. Because we're big on accountability on both sides. Yes, you can say you lack accountability. Do you have accountability?
Right.
Do
you apologize?
You both gotta look in the mirror.
Yes.
Especially, like, we've done this with each other a lot.
Yes.
And it takes
sincere apologies and genuine forgiveness. You can't move forward if you don't have both those things.
But there's no moving forward if you don't see a problem.
Acknowledgement is the first step.
Take accountability for your life.
Yes. Number 3. Invalidation of feelings. Now, this is something that I have always really appreciated and valued in this relationship, because there's never been a time where I have brought an issue your way and it's just been like you doing too much. Like, you just writing off how I feel. Because at the end of the day, regardless if you don't understand how your partner or why your partner might feel a certain way, if your partner is telling you, this hurt my feelings, you doing this bothers me, and you just are like,
you're crazy,
the gaslighty energy.
Like, if you just neglect all that, that's a sign. Well, it's a lack of empathy, and that's like, in a relationship, you need to have empathy.
You do,
but
and grace and
empathy are very pillar-ish of a relationship. So when you say like invalidating the feelings, you're being gaslit.
Yeah.
You're truly being gaslit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because feelings should be validated, especially in a relationship.
Yes.
Everyone has them, you know, whether they be outlandish or not, at least take the time to consider them.
Yeah.
Like, if she says that hurt me and I still do it, that means like I didn't even care what you said.
You know, the realest thing that you had told me some years ago, you were like, if you are hitting me, because I think this is and the only reason I want to state too that we're able to give tips like this, we haven't had a toxic relationship, but we have toxic traits in us that we've had to work on throughout the years. Acknowledge, adjust, right? Yeah. So I remember it was either around the time where I wasn't able to apologize, the pride thing or something, but you were saying a scenario of, imagine that you keep hitting me and I tell you hitting me hurts, and you tell me, oh, deal with it, and I keep going. Yeah,
or you say like, yeah, you're kidding.
Yes.
And you keep slapping me.
Yes.
And I'm like, it hurts.
Right.
No, it don't hurt.
Yes. That's an invalidation of feelings.
And after a while,
right,
I could get really upset.
Right.
And I could slap back.
Right.
And then it becomes a whole nother problem.
Yes.
Because the feelings weren't validated.
In the moment, when it was mentioned.
And if you don't validate the feelings, that leaves a door open for someone else to validate the feelings.
Yes.
And you're just setting yourself up for a very toxic concoction.
It's
You're stirring it.
It's
You're stirring it. You can't keep stirring it like that.
Yeah.
Definitely a sign of a toxic relationship, invalidation of feelings.
Yes.
Number 4, lack of growth.
Both individually and collectively, as a couple.
Now, I'm not one to say like there's points in time where, you know, things are just good, even. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong. But there's definitely something wrong if you see a deterioration.
Yes.
If you see a regression.
Yes. In yourself.
And this is not saying, because low points happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's financial slumps, there's life.
But it's based off the relationship we're talking about. If the relationship is depleting you, deteriorating you, your vibrancy is dying, your light is dying.
If it's coming back in,
that's a sign.
That's a sign. That's a big sign.
Yeah.
Because we try and treat our relationship like a garden.
Yes.
Okay, we water it.
Yes.
We soil it, protect it. We shine light on it. Okay, we try and make sure that the soil is good at all times. It's got nutrients.
Yeah.
Like we take care of our garden because we like to see it flourish.
Yeah.
And when we take care of a garden,
it blooms.
It blooms. The fruits of the Spirit are everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're not religious, I would still say check out the Bible, fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Because it be hitting. I'm not here to tell you how to believe, but I'm just saying the Bible adds up.
It does. I like your theory about the tandem climbing.
Oh, okay. Growth in relationship should feel like tandem climbing. I climb up, I hunker myself in, I give you support as you climb up and maybe even go past me. And you hunker yourself in and you give me support so that I can climb higher and hunker myself in. And together we climb this mountain.
That's tandem climbing. Yep.
If you're not growing, that means someone has gone up, hunkered in, and the other person is just chilling. They just sitting here.
Just sitting there.
You ever, like, I don't know, there's signs and symptoms of lack of growth, but like someone that's just anti the progress.
Right.
You trying to go out all the time? Man,
right.
That's a big business idea. Are you sure you want to do it? Maybe we should just forget about it. Like,
it's hard to be with someone who doesn't share the same belief system, morals as you, ambition.
Man, and that kind of goes into the next one, really.
Yeah. Let's do it.
It really kind of dives into number 5, which is unequally yoked.
Period.
And when we say unequally yoked, it's not saying like you have to make as much money as me.
No.
You have to be at the same level of status as me. No, you guys just have to be equally yoked in your beliefs for what you want in the relationship and in the future.
I like what you said the other day. You said you guys do not have to be in the same spot, but you do need to be on the same page.
And going in the same direction.
Yes.
Because if you say like, I'm trying to elevate my life, and someone's like, I'm trying to minimize my life.
Right.
Or if you're saying like, I want to start a business, and he's like, I don't want to work for, like, I don't want to work.
I'm fine with, I don't want to work. It's drastic. Yeah,
You're drastic. Yeah,
drastic.
you got to be drastic.
Yes.
And you go the other way. But like someone says, I want a big house. You say, I want a small house. I want kids. I don't want kids.
Right.
You're not going in the same direction. You're not equally yoked. You got to start checking those things off. Like, yo, what do you think about finances? What do you think about kids? What do you think about your future? What kind of house you want? Where do you, like, we need to be
ask these
equally
questions.
yoked.
Yes. And I think sometimes people avoid these questions because they already know the answer.
They don't want the harsh truth.
And that in itself is a form of a toxic relationship.
That's a
because
toxic
you're
mindset.
ignoring, it's a toxic mindset because you're ignoring the signs early on, and you still are having this hopeful, naive perspective that it'll work out eventually, or let some time pass. No, when a person shows you who they are, what they are, and they express to you their wants and expectations for their life, do not assume that that's gonna change somewhere along the line.
And I really think that's a big one when you're talking about equally yoked, especially in the beliefs term.
Yes.
When people start saying like, this is my belief, like this is what I'm rooted in,
Yes.
you need to take that.
Yes.
Because it's hard to change a belief.
Yes.
It's hard to change a belief unless you have like some deep introspection, like something life altering has to happen in your life to really change a belief system.
Yes.
So when you're talking about equally yoked, yes, in your beliefs, that's even down to a religious term. Because like sometimes, you know, there's been people that may have worked it out, but I guarantee you it's a struggle point. I guarantee you it's a struggle point.
Yeah.
If you're unequally yoked, those other four will definitely manifest themselves a lot. There won't be peace because you're always at war with each other's thoughts, views, and opinions.
Right.
There won't be any growth.
Right.
Because you're not believing in the same direction or path.
And nobody's feelings will be valid.
Nobody's feelings are being doubted because your beliefs or feelings are just
This is how I feel. This is how I feel. Oh, that goes into 6. Your partner or you are uncompromising.
You have to be able to shift, move, adjust,
change.
Yes.
In some cases.
And people be like, I don't want to change, or I don't want nobody to change for me.
I feel a way about that. Yeah.
We all change. Every day you change.
Yes.
Simple scientific fact. You get older every day.
Right.
You're changing. Your mindset shifts. New information is being put in your face every single day, especially if you have any access to media or technology.
Right.
I can guarantee you there's new information being processed every single day.
Right.
Changing the way you see things, changing the way maybe you view things. So you need to understand that growth is a part of the game.
Right.
Change is a part of the game.
Change is a part of the game.
Compromise is a part of the game.
Huge.
Nobody comes in perfect.
Yep.
So there's some room for improvement.
Yep.
If your partner comes to you and says, man, this is a point where I think we could do better, or you could do better, take it into consideration.
Right, at bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Take it into consideration. I feel like people get real defensive when it comes to like, you trying to pick at my arm.
Right.
You're trying to tell me
it's
how
the
I
mirror.
am. Yeah, no one likes a mirror being held to them, but sometimes it's necessary.
It's very necessary.
She's come to me and hit me between the eyes with a lot of stuff, which opened the door for me to understand more about myself.
Same.
My ADHD. She told me like, yo, do you ever notice that you don't finish what you start? That hit me hard between the chest. It hit me very hard, and I was offended at first. I was like, what you mean? Like, I'm getting stuff done, I'm still doing stuff. She was still like, yo, look at your track record.
Yeah.
Just look at it, take a second. And if I wouldn't have considered that, I would have never opened my mind to the fact that, man, I have a mental health issue that needs to be addressed.
And then for me, my thing was him hitting me between the eyes with like, you realize you don't apologize about anything? This is the early on stages of our relationship, like the first 2, 3, maybe 4 years, if I'm being honest. And it was the main thing. Yeah, oh my gosh. Even when I knew I was wrong, it's like I
couldn't get it out.
I couldn't say sorry.
Stuck in the base of the throat.
And literally, and it was when you started to like really say like, this is either you compromise. It's not even a matter. It wasn't a compromise. It was like, this needs to change.
It needs to change, or I have to go. This needs to change,
or I have to go. And that's when I could have either been like, all right, well, fine, take it or leave it. I'm not gonna change that.
And I would have said toxic relationship, gone.
And he would have been gone. And it wasn't worth, my pride wasn't worth losing this here. These compromises that the person you love is requesting something of you.
Yeah.
Really think that, because all these relationships start from a place of love. Y'all loved and liked each other at one point to be here, right?
And I'm big on that. Relationships are built on strings of sacrifice. And sometimes sacrificing or maybe even dying on the cross for your partner.
Yeah, air quote that,
quote that.
Jesus is the only one
Yeah, he's the only one really did that.
Yes.
But like, you know, we all have our crosses to bear. So we all have to die on a cross at some point for something.
Yes.
And like in your relationship, sometimes you have to die to pride. Sometimes you have to die to ego, die to self for the greater good of the
People
union.
just always want to be right. So you want to be right so bad, right?
My grandfather always said you could be dead right.
Literally. People want to be right so bad instead of just listening to understand what their partner is really trying to communicate to them, so that they, because it's like, what you don't realize is this is your teammate. This is my teammate, my life partner.
My partner.
If we are at odds with each other and neither one of us are wanting to let the ego, let the pride die in order for us to have like this healthier homeostasis and environment for us to dwell in, we are going to be in a it's not even turbulent. We're going to be in a war for the rest of our relationship.
The pieces out the door.
And the pieces out the door. It is way more peaceful. It might suck. The pride might hurt a little bit, realizing like, oh dang, I need to change about myself. But if it helps your garden bloom, it is worth taking that L.
It's worth it because it'll manifest itself into something 10 times greater.
Yes.
And like, you never know, like some of these things are actually overall to make you a better person. Like these things, people sometimes look at like changing a toxic trait as like changing a piece
like,
of them. It's
oh
like,
my God,
no,
they're so hurt by it.
But like, it was a toxic trait. Just call it. This is why living at the edge and accountability is so important, because like, if you don't see that, you know, this is a toxic trait, not only are you like hurting the relationship, but God forbid, you're hurting yourself, and God forbid there's like children
involved, you're hurting them. You're hurting all parties
like, no one
attached to you.
No one benefits from that.
Yes.
So you gotta be willing to compromise in a relationship. Don't think negative of it. Think of it as like, you know, constructive criticism.
You're helping your home
You
flourish.
go to basketball practice, your coach say you gotta work on your jump shot, and the next thing you know, what? You work on your jump shot.
And you get better.
You don't tell him I can shoot.
Right.
You gonna get benched.
Right.
It's a team sport.
It is a team
Relationships
sport.
are a team sport.
It's a team effort.
You're gonna have to compromise. Point number 7. No trust.
No trust. You going through their phones, you looking at their location,
you're constantly
on their social media stalking stuff.
Yeah.
Like that is such a toxic place to dwell in. That cycle is exhausting. Been there, done that, will never do it again.
So if you're at that point, 2 things could be a case. Either A, you have to look at yourself again, live at your edge, hold that mirror up and say, am I insecure, or were there signs and symptoms for me not to trust this individual?
And it might be both.
It could be a little bit of both. Could be a little bit of gaslight.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit of non-trust. Could be a little bit of proof.
Yeah.
But all these are signs that it's getting a little toxic in this mug.
Yeah.
There's never been a point where I've been looking over her shoulder like, man, I really can't. Like, there's been times where it's like, okay, you know, fib, lie, every once in a while, like, but I've never gotten to a point where I'm like, I can't trust her. She can go out with her friends. She can do pretty much like anything she wants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't try and control her or nothing like that, because I trust her judgment. I trust her. So I'm not checking locations unless, you know, she don't text me back and she said, if it's getting late, she said she was going to be back at a certain time. It's a safety thing. You're not checking it because of trust. It's not because of a lack of trust. It's for a betterment of safety. And you got to assess that for yourself. But if you can't trust your partner, you can't trust the things that they say, you can't.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing in the relationship then?
I wouldn't.
And is this the best you think love can get for you, where you're gonna just continue to dwell in this cycle for however long? Like, when is it gonna stop?
Would you let your toddler drive? Can't trust it.
Oh,
Would you let your toddler drive? So if you can't trust your partner, like women, if you want your man to lead but you can't trust him, how can you trust the leadership? Men, if you want peace in your home but you can't trust women, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. There has to be trust.
There has to be trust. This is again your teammate. You have to be able to be confident in the fact that they will do right by your relationship. And if it has been proven previously that they have not, that doesn't mean that people can't change.
That they can't change.
Right? But
you need some history and facts.
You need history, facts, and accountability, the track record.
You need a track record.
Yes.
And like, words are cool, but actions are way better.
What? Actions are it.
Actions are
really
the
only thing you need to base anything off of.
Because
words are fluffy.
Yeah. I've just seen toxic relationships where like words are the things that keep people together.
Yes.
And that's not the case.
Yes.
You compare words to actions.
Yes.
And if the words don't match up to the actions, then trust is deteriorating for sure.
Can I also say too, when it comes to that trust thing and the words and stuff like that, if someone continues to keep slapping you, I like that we use that as right, and then they say sorry, BS.
Sorry.
All BS, bro.
Sorry.
The words aren't enough. The actions do not match.
It don't
They
match.
have to match.
I'm a big proponent of math. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody should love math. You might not like numbers, but you should love math because everything in life has to add up.
It has to add up.
It has to add up. And that is something that doesn't add up. Your words say one thing, your actions say another. It doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up.
That's 1 minus 1. That's 0.
The formula.
The formula is words plus actions equals trust. I can trust what you're going to do because when you do something or you say something, you do it. I trust you.
Correct.
But if you say something, you don't do it, I cannot trust you. This is simple math.
It's simple math.
It's simple math.
It really is.
And math always be math. And God created math. It's simple. That shit add up.
Yeah.
I said God and shit, the same thing.
He knows your
Excuse
heart.
me, Lord. You know my heart.
Number 8, lack of effort.
And that one's important too.
That one is crucial.
Again, this is all on the lines of like, you're not compromising, you're not looking at yourself in the mirror.
You're not prioritizing,
the person.
If you're not feeling prioritized in your relationship.
Man, and it's like...
It's a sign. Again, these are just signs. It doesn't mean like, oh, end it today. Some of these things might be an end of the day thing, but for this one in particular, the lack of effort can be a matter of conversation.
Something that we did. So let's go back to us, because I love going back to us. She always used to hit me with, I need more romance in the relationship. It wasn't that I wasn't like taking her out to these nice places or anything like that. She's like, I just like to know that you take time out your day to think about me.
And it was the consistency tidbit. You would be romantic here, and it wasn't in a
I was the type to change the squeaky wheel and never go back for maintenance.
Yeah. Ooh, thank you. Love that.
Yeah.
That was it.
I was the type to see like, oh, the brakes need change. Cool, but I didn't do the oil change. I didn't go rotate the tire. Like I didn't do the maintenance work to make sure that the brakes didn't need changed again.
Yes.
And so when the squeaky wheel came, I'm like, fix it real quick. I jump in, fix it, which was still effort.
It was still effort,
but it wasn't a consistent effort. And I think once she got that through to me, she started seeing the consistent effort.
Yeah.
Because it was like, in my eyes, I thought I was giving the effort.
Right.
But she, like, you know, it takes some communication, which is important.
Yes.
But once we got through the communication of like, look, I don't need you to do all these fancy, extravagant things for me all the time. I just need to know that you care. And like, we looked at her love languages and we kind of went through that.
Receiving gifts.
Which
can be as simple as his love notes, which is actually this mirror is a love note on there right now.
Yeah, I write love notes.
That I woke up to, and that just
it's effort.
It's effort. It's romantic. It makes me it allows me to know like, oh, he really cares about me, like he loves me. I know you do, but it's just that reinforcement. Again, it's just my love language. It is
and like sometimes people show their love and effort in different ways. Like some people will be like, oh, I'm giving effort because I'm working really hard at my job to provide for the family. But you have to make it clear with your communication where you need the effort to show them that they care about you.
Yes, and I noticed too, especially in the beginning of our relationship, we would love each other the way we wanted to be loved, right? And that's why like taking love languages, the love language quiz, or having conversations, asking your partner questions really come in clutch for stuff like this, because they might feel like they are giving the effort, whereas you can feel like, no, you haven't done this in a while, I haven't felt this way. This is why communication is so important to avoid these type of things. Yeah. And I would also say with that lack of effort tidbit too, if you have communicated to your partner that you are not feeling like a priority, because I feel like gaslight can enter the conversation here too.
Broken record syndrome.
Yes.
If you feel like you said something over and over and over and over and over. A couple times, you know, guys can be kind of like, I know on the guys tip of things, we're hard-headed, so sometimes it takes a little bit of drilling to get through. But there, at some point, you gotta say, look, there is no effort. There's been times where she's like asked me for effort, and then we've had real ninja moments.
Gotta have them, the Miami moments. We'll get into that.
Down. Yeah, we'll get into that. Just wait for this content to really start rolling out. We'll get into that. But she'll sit me down and she'll be like, look, we've talked about this. And again, this is me validating her feelings, because at this point, I have to validate it. This is a serious conversation. She's called out the key word, our trust word, Miami. She's like, look, we need to have this real talk. We've talked about this over and over. I'm looking for that effort to show me that you truly hear what I'm saying and you truly care.
Right.
Otherwise, I have to make a decision for me.
Right.
And that's not to say like you have to threaten the.
For me, I wasn't threatening.
She wasn't threatening.
I really meant it though.
Yeah, she was like,
whenever we had
yeah.
these conversations, because it would get to that point, and
Yeah.
that's his way of knowing. That was my way of kind of communicating to him, like, hey, if you aren't capable of doing this,
Please let me know.
let me know, because then we just aren't made. We're not meant to be.
Maybe not.
We're not meant to be.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna settle or lower my expectations or standards on what I want
Yeah.
out of a partner.
And this was like something real deep too. Like when we had this real ninja conversation, I wasn't looking for a job.
Oh, this is after college.
This was after college.
Yes.
And I was on some, I'm not gonna work for the man.
Right.
I ain't finna do nothing.
But he ain't had no plan either.
Had no plan either.
And
So
he was living with me and my mama.
And so when she came to me, she was like, look, you said that you don't want to work for nobody, but you haven't shown me that you can work for yourself.
Yeah.
You haven't shown me that you can crawl
Before you walk or run. Yes.
Which, you know, I was claiming that I was going to run soon.
Right.
But I hadn't crawled nor walked. And she was like, look, all I'm trying to see is that you have a plan and you have steps to success. If I can't see that, and she gave me a great deal of time. She's like, look, we can have this conversation next year.
Next year.
But if we don't see anything different by this time next year, I have to like do what's best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I respected it. I really did. I was like, look, you know, y'all heard this story. If y'all OGs, y'all heard the story. But like, again.
And if you haven't, it's somewhere between year 1 and year 6, I think, is on our channel.
Yeah, it's in there.
We broke down every year of our relationship actually on here up until I think year 7 and 8. That's on Patreon.
7 and 8 is on Patreon.
Okay, but yes, there was we're talking about effort, right?
Yeah.
Now, and then after that conversation, immediately there was like and I think this is also a good way to gauge how serious your partner is about you, to be honest, because at the end of the day, God gave us free will, right? You had the option to still be like, well, and I'm not doing it, but you knew that the consequence was that we were no longer going to be together. I feel like people show you all the time how they feel about you and if they care through their actions. His actions was immediately looking for a job, and I think within like a week or so you had
I had a job in a week.
Yes.
I had a job
Literally.
in a week. I started working within 2 weeks. I became a manager in 3 months. And
we were off
to the races. The second I was like, cool, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna follow the steps. Cause at that point I was trying to do some very big stuff.
Yeah.
That like, I guess as a man I didn't think through the details.
Yeah, you guys aren't super detail oriented. Most aren't. I won't generalize, but most men are not super detailed.
Yeah, you know, women like that detailed touch. So like she was very detailed about like, okay, what's your step, what's your plans, all this stuff in between. I'm like, okay, yeah, you making a lot of sense. Like, and you know, we yin and yang off that. Everybody has that in their relationship, I hope. You know, someone might be the detailed oriented person, somebody might be the big picture. You know, y'all work it out. You know, big picture, work the details.
And we'll get into that, I feel like, in future videos too, like figuring out your strengths and weaknesses versus your partner's, because they're oftentimes, like for our example, my strengths are his weaknesses and his strengths are mine, and that's why we work so well as a team. Yeah,
but there's effort on both sides.
Yes.
So if there's a lack of effort, that's definitely a sign. Number 9.
Final one.
Final one.
Sign for now.
For now. I think we have more, so let us know if you guys want a part 2.
Yes.
Which I think you guys are gonna want a part 2. But number 9, unhealthy communication. There's so many forms of unhealthy communication. It's very loaded. We could dang near make an entire video on communication alone.
We could.
Because communication is pretty much the foundation of every solid relationship. And if it's unhealthy, then everything else sort of deteriorates.
Yes.
Hence, you know, healthy communication of grievances, of lack of effort, of emotions. Communication is also a two-way street. Just as much as you want to be heard, you need to be able to hear.
Say that again.
You need to be able to hear just as well. Actually, I want to say twice as well. God gave us 2 ears, one mouth. Dang.
Woo.
So we got to be listening twice as much.
Okay.
Twice as much.
Yes.
You know? Or we got to be observant. We got 2 eyes. We got 2 ears. You know, 2 nostrils. Like we're supposed to be taking in.
He really only gave us 1 mouth.
One way out.
He's going to do too much.
There's a lot that needs to go in before something comes out.
Yes.
Okay, so he gave us all these senses and there's only 1 mouth. He's like, okay, I'm going to give you that.
Yes.
1. Communication.
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's the only way that it works, to be honest. And go ahead.
We're big proponents on healthy communication, even in frustration.
Yeah.
even in points of frustration, we have a level of respect.
We do not cross
There's
a certain line.
Borderline of respect.
Absolutely
Name
not.
calling will never enter the equation in this relationship.
Name calling, we don't cuss each other out. We don't. Our voices really don't even elevate when we have a disagreement or an issue with each other. We've never yelled or had these screaming matches. We don't communicate
That's
that
just
way.
not
It's
how.
also like, are you really gonna get to the root of the problem for real? When, please, if anyone has experienced it, because I haven't heard this before, if you've ever experienced an argument or a screaming match that ended up resolving peacefully or in a good place, where you guys actually resolved what the issue was, please comment below, share with us.
Yeah, or does it just blow up, y'all walk away, and then come back calmly, and then have a good, healthy communication and get to the root of the problem?
You know, another good, too, when we're talking about unhealthy communication, we can, the whole communication thing, this can be such a long video, because I'm thinking from the good communication standpoint, sometimes it is good to just walk away before saying anything.
Yeah.
Gather your thoughts, allow those feelings to de-escalate so that your mind can actually think before you speak.
Let me toss you a gem.
What?
Everybody should just have this in their back pocket.
What?
Hey, look, right now, my emotions are all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't have the right words to make this argument a peaceful one.
Yes.
So I think we should separate
And
or
come
go
back.
our separate ways for a
Yes.
second, gather our thoughts, and come back together when we're both in a better mental space.
Because the thing is, too, you can't rewind time. You cannot take back any disrespectful, boundary crossing,
You can't.
belittling, like,
Once that word is out there,
yes, that you make about your partner, the person you love, your teammate.
Can't
You
bring it back
cannot
in.
go backwards. And it's never gonna be forgotten.
yeah. And no matter what you say to apologize for it,
It's still there.
the hurt stings.
The taint, the
it
stain is
tattoos
still
right
there.
on their
Yes.
heart. Like it really just tattoos right on it.
And imagine, like, right? I love that phrase of tattooing. If we, anything that we said to our partner that was nasty or mean or rude was tattooed on them, where we had to see it for the rest of our lives, you would be more cautious about what you say.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would hope so. And if they're not, sign of a toxic relationship.
Huge sign of a toxic
Huge sign of a
relationship,
toxic
right?
relationship.
But yes, just envision it and put it in your mind. You can't physically see the tattoo written on them, but no, anything you say to them is now on their heart. They are not going to forget it. That's going to stick with them for the rest of their life and the rest of your relationship for sure. I can't imagine saying, like, you know, people will call, for example, their partner a B-S-N. B-A-N. A B-A-N, a band. I don't know. Hopefully you guys follow what I'm trying to say without directly saying
A female dog booty ninja.
Yes, thank you.
Female dog booty
How
ninja.
do you come back from that? How do you, like, for real, come back to that?
Yeah, how do you, like, because as a man, that level of disrespect coming from a woman will make most men, like,
Tapped out.
Yeah, we tapped
and
out.
vice versa. A man calling a woman out her name. And think, like, what we are really supposed to be for each other. Most times women, we're supposed to be nurturing and speaking life into you guys.
Men are supposed to be protectors,
protecting and,
you know, providers.
like,
It just don't add up.
don't add up. Make the math make sense.
People, we got to do some math.
Yeah.
We really do. But like healthy communication is like not only communicating when things are bad, but communicating when things are good.
Good.
We
Yes,
spend so
yes,
much time
we do.
communicating and manifesting and harping on the things that can be
Yes.
improved. But when things are good, it seems like the communication is like, oh, you should know I love you.
Right.
You should know that I care.
appreciate you.
You know, but like,
no, say it.
reinforce the good. The power of life and death is in the tongue. When something's going great, this is the time to reinforce and encourage better behavior. So
Yes.
like when it's like
Yes.
you're doing something great, man, I really love that you did that for me. I appreciate you so much. Like you have no idea how much you mean to me.
Man.
That can go so far.
Because most people feel super unappreciated
Exactly.
in a relationship, and also because of that, they feel unseen. And above all else, any other relationship in your life, I feel like the one that you care about most in terms of like being seen is here.
Right here. This is where you want to be seen the most.
Yeah.
At your peace.
Yes.
At your home. With your partner.
Yes.
With your teammate.
Yes.
Who respectfully holds a mirror to your face every once in a while.
Yeah.
But take it. Just take it. Put your ego aside for at least for your
For
relationship.
your relationship's sake.
And build.
When you guys can decide that because we're a team it's now us versus problems, not us versus each other,
Yeah.
life will become so much more peaceful for you. I promise you that. There's a lot of people they're at each other's throats as if they're mortal enemies.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's actually another sign. If your partner feels like your adversary, if you feel like, you know, this is someone that I'm battling against,
yes,
that's a toxic relationship.
that's a toxic
because
relationship.
again, you're teammates, not opposing teammates.
Oh my gosh.
All that being said, that we have more.
We have more.
We have more.
Let us know if y'all want a part 2. Let us know if any of these hit home, can be relatable, hopefully.
I'm hoping it opens somebody's eyes.
Yes.
And again,
and provokes thought and conversation. That's all we're really here to do. And
one thing that we should make clear yet again is that all these points individually are not signs that you need to leave. But if you do the math and it starts adding up, then you should know that it equals a toxic relationship. You know, take some time, get a pen and paper,
let it marinate,
write some things down, maybe goods, bads, whatever, do the math. And then you will have your answer.
And also with the math, let it be actions, not words.
Yes.
That you're mathing.
The math can't rely on them words. Because again, gaslighting is a real thing.
It is.
Words are fleeting. Yes, the power of life and death is in the tongue, but still, actions back these things.
Yes.
There's actions that back these words, that validate the words.
Because if you're like, he's done all these mean, harsh, blah, blah things to me, but he said sorry, that's not good enough.
But he said he wants to do better.
That's not good enough. He's going to be a better man. He's going to change.
She said she loves me still.
Yes. And sorry, I'm saying the he and we're going back and forth.
We're
talking about everybody. Everybody men, getting this
women,
smoke.
all y'all getting this smoke. Because everybody needs to start looking in the mirror.
Yes.
Like, women ain't perfect, men ain't perfect. None of us are.
None of us
We
are.
all got to take that into consideration when we're talking about relationships.
Yes.
So all this put together, take time to do the math.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all we got for this video. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you want a part 2, also hashtag part 2.
Hashtag part 2.
Down in the comment section.
Yes, you guys want a part 2.
As you guys can tell, we're hitting between the eyes.
We're coming for it, This
information that we're putting on
We're
YouTube.
not here to fluff you.
No,
we're past those days. No sugarcoating here. Don't come here
if you don't want to improve.
You're not gonna like the content we have coming.
Man.
But if you're someone who is looking to evolve and grow, this is the place.
We're here for the difficult conversations and ruffling feathers. So, like it or love it, God told us to do this.
Literally.
So, either way, if you don't already know, I'm Joshua Woodard. She's EC Man Deco. We are married. You know, we keep our
We're the
wolves. Together we're Josh and EC. You can follow one of us. You can follow 2 of us. You can follow all 3 of us. You might as well follow all 3 of us because we happy, healthy, and hydrated on all 3. But other than that, y'all, until we meet again, peace, love,
head grease. We gotta do that one more time. Peace,
love,
head grease.
and we out.